Hi, it's Maxwell here. I'm one of the customers, and you'll notice my mother's given us a wash if you're watching this on video. It took us ages to find that fox jobby, but she wants us to smell like the rest of yous. But anyways, I've had a good clean under my ears and stuff. This week Mark's scanning solo, and he'd really appreciate it if it was possible if you could leave a review on the iTunes, because I do read them and I tell them all about it. Enjoy this very short podcast this week. Maxwell out.
Hi everyone, it's Mark here from Bella+Duke. I'm one of the co-founders, and this is really for podcast 16. I'm doing a bit of a solo this week. Rowan's not available this week, so I thought I'd jump in and do a little bit of an update. Some exciting news. We just today can officially we just raised an investment round for Bella+Duke, and that's going to help us on several fronts, and especially expansion as we go forward, and making sure that we continue to deliver on our promise and providing one really exceptional customer service, which is like the core of our business, and also make sure that we can provide food at an affordable cost, and make sure that we can keep the quality going forward. And I think these two together require investment, and that's what we've got to do. The other thing really to chat about today is I guess really the mission of why we do what we do, and our philosophy. I've never looked at ourselves as like we're a dog food company. I've always thought of ourselves as a brand that people could trust, whether it's food, whether it's holistic, whether it's oils, it's herbs, just a whole way of life. I think it's important, especially with dogs. And often we run very busy lives, and I think our dogs help keep us very, very much in the moment. I know when you go for a walk with a dog will just be going, what's smelling over here? What's lovely over here? What's nice over here? And they'll just be in the moment. Often when we're walking with them, we're thinking, I've got to do that, I've got to get to work, I've got to do this, and you forget to be in the moment. So I think having a dog really does help you stay in the moment, and they're always excited to see you. And I think it's our responsibility as pet owners or pet guardians is to provide them the best possible life we can, and that means improving their health span as well as their lifespan. And that's what I take as a priority for us as a company, is to make sure we do that. And what's interesting, as I delve more and more into the industry, one of the exhibitions that we went to, conferences we went to, one of the slides that came up which really brought it home to me was in 1970, the average age of a dog was 17. The average dog age today is 9, and for me that's a shocker. And you think with all this advanced medical advances we've made, all the pharmaceutical, how come the ages of dogs is halved? It's just not right. It's just not right. And I guess what I get a little bit frustrated by, especially in the dog and the cat market, is it's the only industry where the medical industry say, hey, feed processed food more so than what they should be eating, which is species-specific food. And so my goal really as a company, as a CEO, as a founder of Bella+Duke, is to get that message out as how come we have all this experience now, a medical experience, yet the average age of dogs is reduced to 9 years. Of course there's outliers. Of course there's people that have been fed on dry kibble that live to 18. But we're talking about the average here. So the goal really is to make sure that we can provide the best we can for the dogs and do that. So, the average age now coming down to 9 years, what's the major chronic issues of dogs? And often, we'll hear about it, and it's itchy skin, it's allergies, it's pancreatitis, it's obesity, it's underweight, cancer. I think I read in one report recently that they expect dogs over the age of 10, 60% of dogs by 10 or older would have had cancer of one form or another. Autoimmune diseases, this is through leaky gut, and we've discovered this, discussed this in many podcasts before. Things like arthritis, all these things that we go, it's so normal, but it's not right. And we often don't believe, or we don't understand that it's the food that we put in our mouths that's causing a lot of these issues. And it's the same for humans. Again, I like to treat myself as a guinea pig. So at the moment, for the last, I guess, since February, I've been going on what I would class as a species-specific diet for humans. And it's surprising how many people go, "You look so well, you must train, you must fit." And you also exercise. I don't. I do very little exercise. I do very little training because obviously running a company, you just haven't got time. But it's because of what I put in my mouth that's making all the difference. And all the science that comes from the human, we're using in our dogs. That's what our goal is as a company. All the latest science. So I'm what they call a biohacker. So I hack my body and mind for best performance. And a lot of it's just coming down to the food that we eat. And I have a simple rule when I'm feeding myself and my kids is I look on the back of the ingredients, and if I don't recognize it, what that ingredient is, my body doesn't either. And I tend to eat food that's made of itself. So if I'm going to eat a carrot, it's made of itself. If I eat a banana, it's made of itself. If I eat a steak, it's made of itself. And that's the simple rules that we've applied also to our dog food. And the problem with many things like kibble and stuff like that, the ingredients tends to be starchy food: rice, corn, potato, wheat, peas, oatmeal, even peas. You think, oh, you see this pea protein, and you discover that the peas are actually 40% of it turns to starch. And what does that mean? It means the dog's body has to, it's converting this to glucose, and complex carbs, they can't break down. These turn into complex carbs. And this is really, an issue for animals, for dogs especially, because they're getting all this food into them that they just can't, they don't have the enzymes to process because it's cheap fillers. It helps bind the kibble together. That's why they have to have starchy ingredients in there. And when you understand the process of it, it makes total sense of why dogs and animals are having issues with it. No matter how much money you spend on good quality kibble, something's got to bind that stuff together. And if you were to eat cereal for breakfast, lunch and dinner, you would be ill. And a big indicator to me is if a food product has to add minerals into it, vitamins into it, it means that the actual core ingredients are lacking those things. Now we know, again, studies have shown this, that your body processes things differently if they are added into a meal, i.e. if vitamin A, D, what C is added in, it's different to having an ingredient that's already got those minerals and vitamins in it. So the studies out there are already showing it. So the solution that we came up with is creating products that are UK sourced ingredients. They're all human grade, i.e. all the ingredients comes from the same places where you get your human food from. So that was really, really important. It's all raw and the meals are balanced. So what that means is basically we have everything in there that we believe go above and beyond what the basics say that you need. And also the hypoallergenic, so we don't want to cause more aggravation with skin issues and those sort of things. So that's important to us. Ultimately, we want to reduce your vet bill, and you just got to go in our Facebook group, and the amount of people just say this, well, they're not doing all the kennel coughs and all the extra boosts and stuff like that. If a dog's body's working correctly, why do we have to keep adding things to it? Why do we have to put chemicals in it? These are the questions we've got to get asked. We hear, because we trust what we're being told, but more and more people are coming into our group saying, I haven't done it for 10 years, I've never done this, I've never done that. And I think, this is my opinion, I think the truth's coming out there. If the body's working correctly, you don't need to do all these things. You don't need to worry about all these things. And I think, going forward, I think, more and more proof, and we're gaining more and more data just to show, hey, look after your body and your body will work the right way it's meant to. And that is really, really important. If the stomach acid is correct level, it kills a lot of the bugs. The saliva in the mouth kills a lot of bugs. So this whole thing about bacteria, come on. Bacteria is everywhere. It's in the soil, it's in the plants, and we're not going to go and dig plants now. We're not going to have our own vegetable patches in case we might catch something. Come on. Bacteria's been around for a long, long time. So the goal really for Bella and Duke is to continue getting the message out there. And you can take a guess about how big the market is. I think in the raw food market, maximum 10%. Because I think if you start off talking to people and you'll see it yourself, oh, what do you feed your dog? Raw, and they go, oh, raw, I never feed my dog raw. I always like to kind of talk about it in a slightly different way. I ask the question, there's 8.7 million species on this planet. How many eat raw and how many eat cooked meals or cooked food? And you talk, and most people go, well, actually, probably humans. It's the only species out there. Well, it's the humans and the animals that we feed often get processed food or cooked food. And which are the ones that have got the chronic diseases? Yeah, it's the humans and often the animals that we feed. And obviously there's other reasons as well that they often have chronic issues like pulled together, small confined spaces, etc. But I believe that almost, if I was to say, if you want the best food or to improve the health of your life, the health span of your dogs, I think we probably get about 100% of pet owners, I'd hope, saying, yeah, I want to do that. So the question is, how do we get that message across to people without them thinking, raw? And that's really what my goal as a company is how do we get that message out? How do we get it across to people? And I think the stories that we have in the Facebook group, the support, the fans, the ambassadors is brilliant. And the stories that we're collating and the more information, data I want to get from everybody to help get that story out, that's critical for us going forward. Because I think if people just could see the results that you guys are seeing, that we're seeing from our end, it's amazing. We've now put out over 500,000 meals since we launched properly in June last year. And the results just speak for themselves, and we're continuing improving. We've now got the 80-10-10 out there, so you can do your DIY. We're bringing the Rich, which we're just testing to make sure that dogs are leaders, quite important, and doing our tests there. And then the cat food next. But the more that we get it out there that, hey, raw feeding does really help your dog protect itself against the elements. And let's be honest, there's more and more out there as we discover, even just putting fertilizer on your grass. Do you think about that? Weed killer, all these things, they're extra things out there that's going to test the body of your animals if they're out and about in the grass, and you just don't think about it. It doesn't even cross your mind. All these Wi-Fi things, everything going on in the house, it affects your animal as well, your pet. So these are the things we're going to continue learning and putting more and more podcasts out there. Now that we've got a bit more investment now we can start to do interviews, so you don't get my ugly mutt every week or the intelligent Mr. Rowan. And we're going to have more interesting things and more feedback from yourselves, what you want to hear. And Wendy, our vet, information from her, and obviously Caroline has got a heap of wealth of knowledge. And I want these guys to do more and more of these podcasts going forward, because I think they bring a lot to the table. So do tell us if there's anything else you want to hear from us going forward. This is just a short little podcast, and really just to tell you to reinforce what we are as a company and our goal. And as we learn and develop, we'll continue to do it. Keep putting out the word there. Invite people to our Facebook group. It all helps getting the message out there. Anyway, that's me going to sign off. It's the start of the weekend. I hope everyone's going to have a wonderful weekend, and we'll speak again in the group, or on Facebook, on Twitter, or on Instagram, or wherever else we're going to get bombarded from over the next 12 months. Social networking, it's wonderful. Have a good night.